Hey guys, let's see. I am working on the stream here. So hopefully everything is working now, and what you see in front of you here, well, actually just to your just off screen, is I've got the Axial SMT10. Now I picked this up just the other day, actually got it in a trade, and what I'm going to do today is show you guys what my plans are, which is to start converting this thing into a mega truck. Now, I did a live feed on Facebook a few moments ago, kind of starting this thing off. I have decided to try and narrow it down to doing one feed at a time, just so that I can pay better attention to the comments. The comments are, or the live chat on YouTube is quicker, less delay time than Facebook, so hopefully I can stay a little bit up to date. The other thing that I want to try is that I'm also using a new encoder software, which allows me to do things like dual cameras. So you can actually get a better up-close view. That was one thing that I was noticing, is that it was always hard for me to try and show you guys properly what was going on and still have any sort of third-person view of this, other than maybe just my hands at once. So that's the goal. That's what I've got going on. I'm just trying all of these different settings out. Doing the, my production value may not be the highest out there, but I do my best to try and bring something that looks a little decent. Looks like I've got some studio lighting in behind me, and I might have that up a little high. It's getting a little, kind of washing out some of the colors. So I'm going to adjust that slightly, sorry. We'll see if that helps any, maybe a little bit, but nonetheless. So what you see in front of you here is the Axial SMT10. It's the black chassis. So this thing started off as the Max D. Now, you will see that I've already got a new set of wheels and tires on this side. And if you are familiar with the Axial SMT10, you will know that it normally comes with the BKT monster truck tires, which this did. And instead, I have changed them out for a new set of tires. These are the RC four-wheel drive Genius tires. That's how they're labeled. They're a narrow tire with that heavy chevron pattern, much narrower than the Axial BKT, but roughly the same size. So if you didn't like the height of the Axial BKT, you wouldn't like the height of these. But I think with the mega truck look, that they may look pretty good. I also will be bringing this suspension way down because it's way too high. The set of wheels that I'm using is a set of Vanquish OMF wheels. Now, I assembled those live on Facebook a few moments ago, but I disassembled one of them again to show you guys how they go together. Now, I didn't disassemble it completely, meaning taking all of the screws out, because if you did watch any of the Facebook live video, there's a lot of them. So what we have here is obviously the RC four-wheel drive tire, and then we have the multi-piece Vanquish wheel system. Now, the OMF is a pretty special wheel line. It gives you a lot of customization. What we have here is the beadlock piece, obviously, the outer beadlock ring. Behind that is what's called the front ring, OMF front ring. Now, this front ring is available in a ton of different colors. I'm using the black OMF beadlock ring on the outside, which has some like extra shaping detail, so it kind of hides that inner ring. But there is also, you can see there's screw heads in there as well. So if you run a conventional beadlock ring, there's a lot of depth with the levels and amount of hardware in this wheel. Oh, sorry, I forgot to turn the climate control off. I'm sorry about that. Audio is probably not great. So that's what the front ring looks like with all the beadlock. On the back side, there's 4 of these larger screw holes. That's actually all it takes to assemble the 2 halves of this wheel. You first take this clamp ring. Now this wheel is a 0.8-inch wide wheel, like all of the old Vanquish wheels used to be. The newer Vanquish wheels are 1.2-inch wide, but I think that these 0.8s are going to be a much better fit for these tires. So you put that clamp ring inside of that tire. It just seats in there. You kind of get the bead just on the inside. Super easy to do that. Now on my rear ring, I already have the SLW hub attached. I'm using a 600 hub on this, and I'll show you kind of how that looks in a moment. Now I need to make sure that I get the directional pattern right. So we're going to take that front ring assembly and we're going to put it into the tire, and it'll just kind of sit in there like that pretty easily. Then we're going to take that rear face and we're just going to line up those 4 holes, kind of begin to push it together and get those lined up, and then it just takes 4 of the 440 screws to get this thing all bolted up. So, let's see. Now, yeah, the lag probably would be less. Now, I think that is partially due to some of the buffering. I think the buffering is actually a setting that I can adjust in the encoder. And it probably is annoying with being able to maybe see me talking in one and it not happening yet in the other. So, let's see. The diffs, I will be locking the diffs in this car completely since I'll be going kind of mega truck-ish. Now I say mega truck, and I don't. In the end, who knows what that really means? I hate mud. Now I know a lot of people like mud. I know people on YouTube love mud. I hate mud. There is snow up the hill, and that may be where this thing gets its first run. So at this point, the rest of this truck is completely stock. And I will kind of go over my plans for it here in just a moment. Let's see. So there is how it sits currently. Now, I think my biggest complaint with the Axial SMT10 is the amount of belly clearance under here. There's too much. I think that this truck should sit more with a parallel set of links to the ground, and that is where I will get this thing set. For tonight, what my plan is going to be is I'm going to install an all-new set of links on this truck completely. I'm going to go a little bit different in the front. We're going to take these front shocks and we're going to relocate them. We're going to take them from this trailing arm setup. We're going to move them up to the front mounts up here and take them down and mount them on the axle. Now, I've got a new set of incision links that I came up with that will replace that trailing arm then with just a solid link. So if anybody wants to run that setup, I will actually have those up on the Vanquish site probably next week. It's just a simple link setup, and they're going to be super affordable, being that they're incision stainless links. Those things are probably going to be less than $14 for the pair with rod ends. Let's see. I do plan to waterproof it. I'll probably run like just some sort of 4-pole waterproof brushless system in this thing and keep going. As far as any other upgrades, yeah, the whole thing. In the end, we'll probably be left with an SMT chassis, and that's about it from Axial. Everything else, front to rear, in this truck will probably get replaced. I could keep it light and all that, but what's the fun in that? I'd rather just upgrade the hell out of it, because that is the part about this hobby that I like the best. So yes, it is Yeti trailing arms in the rear, Yeti upper links, or Yeti rear upper links, or what the SMT uses front and rear for the upper links. I'll be using incision links everywhere except for the trailing arms, which I'll be using the Vanquish Yeti trailing arms on. I will be keeping the rear sway bar for now, and keeping with a rear trailing arm setup. I'm not going to be relocating those shocks. I do like the amount of travel that it'll give in the rear. In the front, I just want to move it up there and get that limited down a little bit. Let's see. Okay, well, here's what I can do. I don't know how much I even need. How about I do this? I can go in and, yes. How about that? So, I've removed the picture-in-picture function on the one, and instead I'll just have the ability to manually switch between the two in this mode. maybe that will help, and it'll give me a little bit more real estate on the screen. Probably don't need to see my face the entire time, the whole time anyway. So that's the plan. As far as the body and such, when I traded this truck, it had a unpainted Proline C10. However, it's too small. When you get it mounted up on there, the length of it, you can see how the bumper is hanging out the front here, and I think that that doesn't look any good. So this is not going to be put on it. I'll throw that to the side. I do have the much larger C10 body that I had on my old Mega truck, and while this thing still has the body posts here that are sticking up too high, the wheelbase on this body is much better, and I think that that is what this truck may need. So I'll pull these body posts out later, show you guys how this thing will actually sit, and I think this body is what's going to happen. And maybe not that exact one, but a new one just like it. I don't know what body that other one was. I know that that last one is like the Revo size, so that is the likely donor to this rig, or at least the mock-up. So I think that that is what is going to look best. I do have a picture of an old C10 Mega truck that looks almost exactly like this thing anyway, so that's the route that I want to go. So I'm going to dig right back into it. I know I just showed you guys this this setup with the tires and wheels, but they all got to come back off so I can rip all the links off this thing and we can get started. Ugh. So I am liking this dual camera setup. It is allowing me to you know, kind of go back and forth between things. I think that it's maybe a little bit more dynamic. I can not worry so much about the you know, the far out shot where it's, you know, cutting off most of my head in the shot or anything like that. And then I can have the nicer close-up shot that I can actually move that camera around even. Let's see. Oh, the old T-Max body. Yeah, as far as what body goes, I'm going to have to do some looking around because I really don't know which one I'd want to run. So, yeah, like I said, I won't be running the Yeti link setup in front as far as the trailing arms go. I'll be going with the Yeti upper links, and then I've got a new set of trailing arm eliminator type links for the lowers there. What is the difference between incision and aluminum links? Incision links are stainless steel, and they also use a nice beefy 4mm thread that's you know, a milled thread on, or a turned thread on the link. So it's not like a separate set screw or anything like that. And it uses a 4mm rod end, such as the Traxxas Revo, which is much beefier than most of the aluminum links that you'll see. Also, aluminum bends really easy. I don't care to run aluminum links. I don't think I've ran aluminum links on anything for a very long time. So, yes, my wife logged on. Let's see. Isn't that nice? She can see my new camera setup. There, now she can see that it works. Let's see. But that is the main differences between what we've got and the... so I'll be running Incision Yeti uppers and the gray Vanquish trailing arms for the Yeti. And then I've got two more links around here somewhere. Over here. And these new guys here are what is going to eliminate our front lower links. Much better without the picture-in-picture. All right, duly noted. I can switch between that easily without going that route. So I'm going to start off by, I'm just going to remove the whole front axle from this thing. And I went and got my power driver specifically to make this faster, and I wasn't even going to use it. Let's see. Yes, let's not get into the pit lock combo. Not a fan. Let's see. Oh, Nick, I've met your dad before at some of the Southern Rock Racing events. So, let's see. Axial has eliminated the use of lock nuts in a lot of areas, and I wish that they would almost eliminate them in all areas so that it was easier to get these axles in and out. We're close. Let's see, camera a little further away. I can do that. I've got a lot of adjustment with this thing. So, how about that? I'm all up for suggestions. Let's see. I'm going to remove the. We all know I'm not going to run this servo, so let's get that thing out of there. I'll be running a Futaba servo in this, like almost everything else. Futaba servos are waterproof, even though they're not an ugly blue color; they're still waterproof. All right. So as far as the new camera, what I picked up was a Logitech C920. So that is my new camera. It's an HD USB webcam, 1080p, all that kind of stuff. Nice wide angle, stereo microphones, blah 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 blah, all that kind of thing. And then I'll do a list. Actually, I should do a video on what this whole setup is to allow anybody who likes to do the live video stuff, give them all that information. It's the one thing I hate about watching live videos is usually they're done by someone holding their phone and shaking it around or something like that. And if they had a little bit more production value in it, it would make things so much more enjoyable to watch. So, let's see. I'll add a link. And then what I did is I've got that camera. Front axle is all out. If you haven't looked at the SMT before, the SMT uses the updated Bomber knuckles. There's new knuckles that come on the Bomber. And then it's got this beefy new C-hub design that they did. And then it comes with this crazy looking double steering link setup that's supposed to look like a full hydro. But really the whole point of it was just to beef up that steering tie rod, which in axials, can make those front wheels flop all over the place. So no, you don't have to use the encoder to use the camera. The encoder is really just for this whole multi-view thing. You could easily just do the single camera view without it. I just like trying to be fancy for no reason needed. So I'm removing those front shocks from the trailing arms, since I'll be deleting the trailing arms completely. Yeah, no stock servos from me. Let's see. Yeah, Facebook has definitely changed their what they're allowing you to do. Now, I don't know 100% what they've started to allow and all of that, but they've definitely understood that they couldn't keep it to just mobile phones. That was going to definitely limit their use of it. But let's see. This truck could have rear steer capabilities if you built it that way. I do love rear steer. However, since I plan to put a big brushless motor in this thing, I have found that when you're using big brushless motors and trying to use rear steer, that you end up using it almost none of the time because it gets so twitchy in an RC car with that much power and trying to use rear steer. It's just, it becomes pointless. I built, so I had a Wraith that I built back when Wraiths were new. And my whole plan with it was I had a custom, I had, backing up, slowing down, I was using rear steer on the actual Wraith chassis, and it was a blast. I had a 13-turn Crawlmaster from Holmes in it. It was an awesome little crawler. The 13 turns like a 27-turn motor. Super great crawler, and with rear steer, it was a blast. I was using my Futaba 4PK for the rear steer, and it allowed me to just move that thing around. And then I decided to build a custom Ultra 4 car. This was before like Ultra 4 racing was a thing in RC. It was just I liked the Ultra 4 style cars in the real world, and that's what I wanted to build. So I built one modeled after one of Jimmy's 4x4's chassis back in the day. So at the time, Pro 4s were out, and I was like, I wanted to throw something with just a ton of power in this car. So I built that with four-wheel steer and took it out for the first time. And by the end of it, I had my rear steer down to 10% to keep the car controllable. Otherwise, it was just too twitchy. So, and really, at that point, it was just another failure point to have all the complexity of a rear steer car like that. So I decided at that time that it was going to be best to go to just a regular straight axle in the rear and negate the rear steer. Let's see. So yes, a monster truck with rear steer is an awesome concept. And honestly, if you kept it slower, it would still be a lot of fun. But I'm just telling you, you put a bunch of power into it with rear steer, and you lose the you lose any of the practicality or really the fun that the rear steer is supposed to add, because it becomes such an absolute pain in the ass to control. So I'm building the stainless Yeti Incision upper links, rear upper links, and that's what I'm going to get installed in this car. I'm just installing the rod ends onto those links so that we can get them put into the car first. Perth, Australia, maybe? Let's see. I'm trying to catch up with the comments. Comments are going pretty quick. Sorry if I know I'm missing them here and there. I apologize for that, especially. F9s are Currys. So in this car, the Curry Rock Jock is like a Dana 60 type axle and that's real. If you're familiar with what a real world, they make Dana 70s as well, and they also make Curry Rock Jock 70s, which I think is maybe even what we call ours. But I don't know that you would find that size axle in a mega truck in the real world. That Curry F9, while that's also that size axle in the real world, the F9s, you may see more of a fabricated housing style design in a mega truck. So this car may see F9s. Now, you say centered. I may have the ability to build, Jesus, I am clumsy tonight. I do have a centered F9 already built that I could drop right into the rear of this car that I had built for my UC Fab PRT. Now, you haven't seen anything else on my UC Fab PRT because I had actually decided to build something different. So Kyle has my PRT at this point. He and I are going to build. The U4 racing is cool. It's a lot of fun. I don't know if it's actually for me. I love going and covering U4 because U4 is super fun to watch. Sorry, I'm just blown by all the comments in here. The V2 axles, I do like V2 axles. Centered V2s are another option, but I don't have centered V2s yet. Upgrade suggestions for SCX10. Watch my SCX10 videos. I have a ton of them. Right, I know. I'm just trying to go through. Our channel would be greatly appreciated. Good luck with the RC channel, Justin. What about aluminum axle housings that look like the stock housing? Those are the V2 housing that we have from Vanquish now, which would be fitting, but I love the F9. Yes, lots of drop C's. Are you sponsored by VP? I work at VP. Thanks, William. You know that. How does this build compare to a Clodbuster? Clodbuster is an MOA vehicle. MOA is a motor on axle, so very different. This is like more of a scale, true shaft drive, center mounted transmission, so it's quite a bit different there. You still have my scale motors. Chris, what do you mean? Oh, Chris, yeah, I remember I bought some model motors from you. I don't think I have those anymore, actually. You're doing, yeah, my favorite. You're completely correct. Have I 3D printed any scale motors? I have 3D printed scale motors in the past. I haven't lately, though. So, I've built the front upper links. I'm going to get those put into place on the chassis. For that, we'll switch back. Camera 1, camera 2, camera 1, camera 2. Anybody know what that reference is from? Let's see. This screw's too long. I can tell already. Let's see. This car did have kind of a mismatch of screws in this thing. I'm not really sure which ones we're supposed to go with. Now, I did trade for this car, so party on? Yes! Party. I love when people get movie references. Vanquish Rockwells would be fun. I agree. There's just never enough time. Yes. Michael, thanks for popping on over to the Facebook or the YouTube side. I do like doing the live feeds on both. It just, I think that I lose focus, and I can't properly maintain my attention span on both. So I think that going with one feed at a time is a good deal. I do still have the Gravedigger. The Gravedigger is just actually on the other side of me over there. When this is all built, not all built up, but once I get a little bit further tonight, I'll pull the Gravedigger up and we'll compare these two side by side. As far as, bumper for the SCX10 too. I am working with Troy over at Scalar Fab, and he is the one who is going to be providing the bumpers for the SCX10-2 project. I need to get him a little feedback on the last one that he sent me. I've got a couple of things that I would like adjusted on that. But we'll get there, and then at the end of it, hopefully, bumpers will be available to the public. No, I will not be installing F9s tonight. I'm simply going to do the new set of links tonight. Again, so the links that I'm going to be installing here on the bottom. This is a new link. It's not on the site yet. It will be on the site next week. It's 1/4" stainless, but it is the exact same length as the stock lower trailing arms. So you can simply pull the trailing arms out, swap these in if you're planning on moving the shocks from the trailing arm in the front to the axle like I'm doing. I'm doing it just because I don't want the that trailing arm suspension up front. I am going to leave it in the rear. I do like it in the rear, just not a big fan of it in the front. Well, it does give you a ton of travel and all that. It also gives you a little bit of some other effects to the performance that I think I would rather stay with the standard 4-link type suspension up there. And saying that, I have access to any of the trailing arms or anything like that I wanted. It's just kind of a personal preference thing, and I think that it's going to look more appropriate for this car to go with the traditional 4-link look. Let's see. I'm gonna go back to the comments for just a second. I'm really glad that I got a chance to run the black chassis rather than the green. I'm just not a fan of the green. Let's see. So why am I? I've got a completely custom chassis monster truck out there. Sometimes you just have to build everything. This truck kind of fell in my lap in a trade. It wasn't something I was planning on or had any intentions of building anytime soon. It just kind of happened, and that's how things go sometimes. Let's see. Is Axial my favorite brand of RC? Probably. I would say yes. Let's see. As far as Central Valley of California, Brian, as far as finding where competitions are, man, I wish that things were, like they used to be when you could just go to RC Crawler and find them all. Anymore, it seems like you have to find some Facebook group that is, within the areas that you want to travel. Sadly, Facebook is probably going to be about your only outlet right now to find competitions. I wish that I had a better suggestion for you, but I don't think that I do. Let's see. So the part of the reason why I'm going. Oh, don't forget the drive shaft connection. So part of the reason that I'm going to a shock on axle up front is because, of how the suspension handles. And now putting on a sway bar, leaving the trailing arms, you're going to get a pretty decent, probably, handling out of it. But I would rather have the more scale appearing I don't know. It's just what I want. It's just what I'm planning on. And I think that it will look good. This one I gotta use the nut on. King shocks. King shocks look really good. They don't perform at all. I've got them here, but I could put on, but they don't perform. Let's see. You can always build a replica chassis. I've got the custom chassis. I just don't. Let's see. I like green gray. Sorry, trying to. Yeah, Andy, I'll trade you just about any rig got here for if you want to trade. Give up the hack. Damn it! Sorry. I don't know why I'm using the worst pair of pliers that I have. Sometimes I just grab something and that's just the way that it goes. No. When I was saying kings, I was not meaning the axial kings. Most of the time when people refer to a king shock, they're referring to an RC405 version of the king shock. Yes, I do need a director. William, when you're free, why don't you just pop down here to Sacramento and you can do the cuts of the live video. I guess I don't have enough friends to come be my directors. So, what we're going to do is I'm going to mount this shock. I'm going to start at the middle of the 3 positions that are on this shock mount up here. And I believe that it's made to mount on top of the axle. That's where we're going to start, and we're going to see how that looks. I don't think that I don't know if going all the way down to the lower mount may. Let's see how that looks for shock angle and ride height. Hold on. It gets it pretty low, and the shock angle's not bad. Up here, it lays it down a little bit more, and the ride height's about the same. I'm going to go with that forward position on those shocks for now. We're going to see how that looks and how that reacts. Let's see. I'm missing all the comments at this time. Yes, my old basement did have its perks with videos and all that, but sometimes you make some sacrifices, and honestly, I wouldn't trade this one. The opportunities out here have been awesome. I do love my job. I love coming to work every day. Doesn't mean I get out of bed super fast, but still, nonetheless. All right, let's see. The Gravedigger that's here is completely stock. Now, I will agree that California has some super lame gun laws. The SCX10 Deadbolt series ended a long time ago, so that you will not see any more on that one. I do have the SCX10 2 build series right now. I've actually got a couple of videos shot for that I need to do. I just haven't edited them. Okay. And I don't think that screw was the right length. Pulling that back up. Uno momento. We're almost there. So, yeah, this servo will not be installed back. Well, I shouldn't say it won't be installed back. Well, maybe it will. I don't know. Okay. Yes, what I should do is I'll probably pull that receiver box out and uninstall that servo completely. So, oof. Man, those springs are stiff when you have them in the trailing arm. Or, so the thing about a trailing arm is that when you're using shocks in the trailing arm, they've got a mechanical advantage over your shock springs. So if you just move the shocks, you just move them out to the chassis, you end up with a shock that is way too stiff. This thing is crazy stiff. So I'll need to replace those shock springs to get this thing anywhere near a reasonable level. This is the equivalent of what the old shop hangout videos were. So that is what you're seeing now. The difference is that YouTube has changed things as well. Just like Facebook has changed and this and that, everything's changed. And to do live videos now with certain functions, especially like the live chat, which I think is super important with these live videos. The live chat, I think, is what makes these things worth doing because they're interactive. And if it was just me talking without the interaction of the comments to keep bringing topics up, I think it would be way more boring, and it would be much better off for me to just record a real video and edit it properly into something more reasonably timed. So, but anyway, so to get the comments, I have to do it the way that you're seeing it now. My job at VP, I'm a production manager. So I do some design, but most of what I do consists of scheduling what products are being made and when, and making sure that I can keep as many in stock at a time as possible. SMT dual rates. That's not a terrible idea. It definitely needs to be lowered because this is ridiculous. So I will definitely have to work on one of those solutions to getting this car to a reasonable level. So those installed. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know that drift cars are cool and all. I just don't know that the drift car market is the vanquish market. People in the drift car market like plastic parts and things like that. And that's not us so much. I know there is a lot of aluminum in drift cars. I'm not saying that drift cars don't have aluminum, but it's a very different market. Come on. Oh, leaking axial shock. It's a unicorn. No, it's not. There we go. Okay, let's see. Yes, the Ram truck is still around better. Or still around as well. I mean, it's done. Just sit in the other room. Like I said, I know I have a problem with getting, completed videos up and all that, or like series, like really wrapping up a series. I should work on that, but YouTube is fun for me. I like to do YouTube, and when projects stop being fun, specifically when they're coming towards the end, sometimes I lose interest, and then you just don't see them anymore. I know. Let's see. All right. So I've got to pull the rear upper link. Whoops. So this axle is not going to fall out right now because it's still got the sway bar attached. I don't know if my wife is still watching or not, but she's texting me questions. Let's see. Where's the Scout? Technically, I don't know if the wife's watching. No. Technically, I do still own a 1-to-1 Scout. It's in Kansas, though. It is not out in California. One of the bummers with moving out here is that I don't have the good friend of mine nearby that was going to help me get that Scout completely built up. That was a bummer. I really was looking forward to that. As much as my wife may not have been looking forward to that project, that was something that I was really, really wanting to do. And when coming out here, a project like that then became something that really wasn't feasible. So I left that back home, where it is now sitting again outside. So the RC Scout is gone. It lives up in Canada now. I don't know who has it now. It's been passed around a couple of times. The name of the guy who has it, his name escapes me at the moment. Let's see. Yeah. Yes, I get paid by both, but YouTube income is very low. You can look up what people make on YouTube. If anybody's ever is ever interested in knowing, you can go look it up. Just pull up like socialblade.com and you can type in anybody's YouTube and find out what they make. And you will be probably not so surprised that it's not very much money. Unless you have a ton of, you have millions of subscribers, you can make a very comfortable living, very nice living. Ugh, I would rather not speak. I'm not a fan of RC Sparks or what he does or stands for. He supports several companies that are very bad for the RC industry, and I'm not a fan. So. And recently there's been a lot of really shitty things in the RC industry, and it's affected a lot of really good companies, and I have no respect for some people that support those companies. So there you go. That is about all I'll say on that for tonight. And it's not that it's even just recently in the RC industry. I said that was all I got to say, but it's not. I say it's recently. It's not recently. It's not necessarily just new, but a lot of these companies just do not have, we all know that there's a lot of companies that don't have any integrity. And we know that a lot of those companies are overseas, and there's, oh, yes, my wife is still watching. No to your question, though, babe. Let's see. If you ask my wife, everything I have is for sale. And she will take about any offer for most of my things, I'm sure. So, yes, anyway. But yeah, there's been some, and if you venture around Facebook very much, you've probably seen a lot of ridiculous drama lately that has been focused around it, but it is what it is. It always is going to happen. There's a lot more people in, let's see. The Scout I had was a 66, so it was an 800 Scout 800A. Let's see. All right. So I've got the new Incision rear upper links in place. And I'm going to get those bolted on, and then we will get the Vanquish Yeti trailing arms installed. Right. So I've got all of them. Whoops. Good thing there's nothing in there. So I'm going to put this to the side for the moment. So I'm going to use, these are the Vanquish Yeti trailing arms. These are the new gray color though. So we recently started producing the Yeti trailing arms in gray also, just to give you some of those color options. If you have not used the Vanquish trailing arms before though, I'm going to show you a little bit about them. So they're without question. No, you see, I didn't necessarily plan on a live. That's why I don't have smart water tonight. Let's see. Yeah, this is. I am drinking. This is sparkling water, Crystal Geyser lime sparkling water, one of my favorites. Fancy, huh? So the back on topic though. So if you've never seen the Vanquish trailing arms before, yes, you can 100% say that I have bias because I do, obviously. But even with, I would stand behind this in any way. There is no better trailing arm you can get than these trailing arms. So any trailing arm that uses a Revo rod end or a plastic rod end of any sort, even if it sinks in or whatever, has an easy failure point with that plastic. This is not like a normal link where you've got that metal link in the two ends. While though you still have those same plastic rod ends, when you have a trailing arm, such as this, you mount the shock in the middle of it. So now you add a force vector in the middle of a link that puts a much different force onto those plastic rod ends. Normally, those plastic rod ends are only taking the force that is transmitted through the forelink in some way. Now, if you take a hit on the axle, it translates it between the four links all the way through the car. So you have a lot of force there. Now, when you have a trailing arm and you have that shock, and then that shock comes out and bottoms out, per se. If it bottoms out as its suspension is coming out, you have a hard point that you're creating a direct force in. You add a bunch of side load to those plastic links, those plastic rod ends, and you end up breaking trailing arms. So a trailing arm like this, that is one piece, is much better. Now, when you have some of the other one-piece type trailing arms, they have pressed in ball joints. Those ball joints can fall out. And we all know that those pressed in style joints suck. So anyway, let's see. Yes, I am, and I 100% say that I have bias. But it's my goddamn YouTube channel, and I'll say what I want. No, kidding. So the other pressed in links, we know what the problems are there. The links with rod ends, if you've been around the U4, anything like that, you'll see rod ends break. That's what happens. Now, like I was saying, these have a little bit different design than a normal link, or any sort of link that has the rod end built in. It's very unique. 1 second. So, with these, I am going to adjust my camera again. Extreme close-up. Another Wayne's World reference. You're welcome. 2 Wayne's World references in one night. So, we're going to show this as best we can in as close to detail as I can in a live video. Not always the easiest thing. So, you've got your regular metal pivot ball. And that drops in the link and just kind of sits there for right now. There is no, it just kind of sits there. It can fall out. All there is to it. Now, you get these little pieces here. And you can see one end of these has a wedge design. You can see that end is cut at an angle. Now, that piece also has the other half of the race design for that pivot ball. You simply slide this thing in there, and it kind of seats down in there. Now, this whole thing, if I turn it over, it'll all fall out. But what you do is you take one of these short M3 button head screws, and what we do is we lightly thread it in. You don't tighten that down. You just do it until it's just holding everything into place. So at this time, it's not going to fall out. I mean, if you wiggled it back and forth really hard, it could fall out. But, so now you take one of these M3 set screws. For this part, I am going to use a tiny bit of thread lock on there. And now there's this hole in the bottom of the trailing arm. Now, like I was saying, there's that angled feature there. So as you begin to thread in that M3 set screw, it begins to come up in contact the back side of that angle. So the more you tighten it, the more it pushes against that and then forces it into that pivot ball. So you only install that set screw and you just adjust the tightness of this pivot ball by tightening or loosening that M3 set screw. I do it until you can feel that there's pressure on that pivot ball, but not so much that you can't move it fairly easily by hand. Once you've got it to that point, you then just come in and tighten that button head down. And at that point, it's all locked into place. The pivot ball still moves, but you've got nice pressure on there. Now, after a little bit of time, that will begin to loosen up a little bit. At that time, you simply loosen that up a little bit, tighten that a little bit more, and tighten it back down. And at that point, you probably won't ever have to do it again. It kind of all just works itself in there, kind of work hardens the aluminum, and you get a super nice set of smooth running trailing arms that aren't going to break. So that is why these trailing arms are the way to go. Period. There's no room for questioning my advice on the internet. All kidding aside, everyone can have their own opinion. I don't care. This is mine, and I'm on the internet. So, that is what I'm saying. That is how the Vanquish trailing arms work. For any of you who have not installed your own before or have not seen them in detail, and why people stand behind these things so much. And, you know, I, of course, gave my opinion, my biased opinion, my admittedly biased opinion, but go around the internet and see it for yourself. As far as like a set of trailing arms like this for the Wraith, you can't just throw a set of trailing arms on the Wraith. The Wraith has a triangulated rear suspension lowers, which doesn't work well for trailing arms. You have to then adjust the shock mounts. It becomes a big thing. The Wraith is also an older platform that, if I was to guess, the Wraith won't be around for that much longer. So you probably won't see many more Wraith-specific products in the future. Yes, you could all contact my wife. You could do it until you're blue in the face. For one, she probably will never respond. For two, she actually doesn't know where any of my rigs are, so it's not going to help you. That's the nice thing about working here, is that all of my RC stuff is now here. So I go home and I'm just at home. I don't have RC stuff at home anymore, which is a very, very odd feeling. I don't know what to do with my hands. Who knows where that reference is from? Car ran real nice, and I don't know what to do with my hands. All right, let's see. Talladega Night, Ricky Bobby. There you go. You guys are all knocking down the movie references. So proud. Will the SCX10, okay, SCX10 2 axles, will they fit? That's a tough question. Technically, sure, they can fit, but you know, there's a lot to trying to just fit them. To run SCX10 2 axles, unless well, actually, UCFab just came out. Deer, 9 pound, 6 ounce, infant baby Jesus. Anyway. if God, now I just got movie quotes thrown around my head. And I don't even remember what. Oh, UCFab. UCFab just released a set of axle-mounted servo brackets for the SCX-10-2. So if you wanted to put SCX-10-2 axles on there, you technically could with picking up a set of that servo mount and a set of links, but you need all of the internals, axle shafts, you need knuckles, all kinds of stuff. So will they fit? Sure. Is it a simple bolt-on? No. I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew. I'm coming at you like a spider monkey. Talladega Nights is one of the most quotable movies. What is that? Yes, I'm sure we could all go. I will try and restrain myself from going on and on with just Talladega Night references. Or my normal reference almost every day is my recent obsession with Deadpool. My wife probably would say how many times I watch Deadpool. It's way too much. It's the best background movie ever. Yeah, the problem with SCX-10-2 though is if you're trying to build one from scratch, is gears. So quality gears, not gears from companies that you can't trust or things like that. So just stay away from the from gears unless you can trust the company quite well. So that's the problem. So until then, you really got to get pretty lucky to find a set of axles. Yeah. Do a full live feed of just doing movie quotes the whole time. Oh, John, my Anchorman next favorite quotable movie. Who's kidding? Sweet and savory. They're jeans, not a chandelier. These live feeds really turn to hell when I get. I'm seriously fighting off my inner urges to just say movie quotes over and over. Smells like Bigfoot. Smells like a used diaper full of Indian food. That's all right. I'm almost done with this. Don't make the super suit green or animated. Awfully strong for a girl. I'm calling Wang. Sorry. I apologize for anybody who's not a movie freak. We're almost there with the suspension, which means that this live feed could be coming to an end soon. Yes, all right, a live feed where I can only how do you say it? Only express yourself in movie quotes. Ooh, I could maybe do it. Those white vans. Those white vans, though. Where was that? Those white vans, though. You mean? Are you referring to the Damn Daniel video? All right. Suspension pretty much wrapped up. Let's open up that receiver box and pull that tactic out of this thing. They tens, but I keep them clean. No more locked doors. Yes, new stance shot. I'll who wants a mustache ride? You boys like Mexico? Okay, yeah, I'll back up the view. The snozberries taste like snozberries. Even my wife can get in on movie quotes. All right. Freaking out, man. Do I look all nimbly bimby? Am I bouncing from... shit, I can't remember that. Do you see me eating mice? Oh, if you can't, yeah. Let's see. Am I drinking milk from a saucer? Do you see me eating mice? You stop laughing right now. Like a large farva. They don't have large liter of cola. Do we have liter of cola? Just order a large farva. I don't want a large farva. I want a goddamn liter of cola. Sorry. Oh, for anybody who doesn't watch all American movies, you're completely lost, and my sentences make no sense. Chicka chicka, fake ID, fake ID. Muhammad? Muhammad's the most common name in the world. Son of a bitch. So, all right, time to put these wheels and tires back on. Show this thing and it's how it sits. Let's see some plain feet. No one's got a hand job in cargo shorts since Mom. Yes. Oh, geez. What's the song he sings? I can't remember. Yes. No one got... That's the Super Troopers scene where... No, Evan. You can't go out like this. Almost got a hand job and cargo machine. No. So yeah, I went with the 600 hub. You know, I don't know why. Honestly, it looks crazy wide right now. I mean, I could throw some 225s on. However, I think that once you put a body on this thing, it may look way smaller. Let's pull out. I need to pull out these body posts. I don't want to put holes in that body right now. Those eyes are, yeah. These eyes. We want to hold you again. These eyes are crying. These eyes have seen what they never get. Oh, sorry. Littering and smoking the reefer. So, now, once that body's on, you know, that's more like the width. It may still be too wide, but, you know, once you're turned, I don't know, especially once you turn, like, if I got much narrower, I'm going to get into that body. So, I don't know, I could maybe go down to like a 350, which would take a 1/4 inch at each side. 225 would probably look really good, but would probably have all kinds of rubbing issues. I can't pull over any further. He's already pulled over. Can't pull over any further. So yeah, I'm torn on what to do as far as the width. We'll see. We'll see which way things go. I just can't decide yet. We'll get there eventually. Throw a football over this mountain. Tina, go get some ham. Come get some ham. Yes, Napoleon Dynamite. All right, everyone's got me guessing on this width now. I kind of want to go get some 225 hubs. I've got a set in my office. If my wife's still watching, I'm bringing you cookies. How about that? All right. I'm on fire. Help me, Tom Cruise. Make yourself a dang quesadilla. Been online talking to babes all day. Okay, I'm going to go get some 225s. And we're going to see what this thing looks like a little bit narrower and what we think of that. So, why don't you guys just go ahead and entertain yourself with movie clips, and I'll be right back. All right. So I didn't have any 225s. I have a set of 350s though, which are considerably narrower. So, did you touch my drums? Why are you so sweaty? I was watching Cops. Huh. Did you touch my drums? No, because Cops doesn't come on till 4. gonna put my nutsack on your drum set. You better not. You better not. This house is a prison. In the planet bullshit. In the universe of this sucks camel dicks. So I'm going to go from the 600 that I had to a 350. So by math, that makes it almost half. Did we just become best friends? Yup. This wedding is horse shit. What? The Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria. What? The boat, the bottle of sangria. Something. This old boat. Oh, my dick can float. Making beef jerky. Taking riverboat gambling trips. Shitting with the door open. We've literally done none of those things. There's blood everywhere. Where's it? So much blood. Oh yeah, when the bunk bed. Let's. Like Kobayashi. You'll wake the neighbors. Just let it rain down. Go to Pam or Pan? Pam. Oh, and it's silent. What drugs are we testing? Oh, love the smell of napalm. Never go full retard. We don't just do shout outs, we do movie quotes. So, for those of you that have been watching and just listening to me shout out stupid random movie quotes that are coming in the live chat, which is going to make no sense for anybody who's watching the this feed without the live chat. This is Axial SMT Mega or Monster Truck chassis. I swapped the links. These are Vanquish O&F wheels, the multi-piece design where you can kind of build your own set. And then I'm installing the RC4 Drive Genius tires. Just a crazy little narrow and aggressive setup. So I swapped the 350s on the passenger side, so you can tell. So if you look straight on at the offset there of the knuckle versus that side, it's hard to tell, but there's a considerable difference. Sorry, I don't know what happened to the audio. The Crispy Spider is in Canada. That's where that one's at. So I have no idea what happened to the audio. Sorry about that. It was like a dubstep, huh? Maybe that was just me. So, sorry, I don't know where it broke in and out of. Axial SMT chassis, Vanquish OMF wheels, RC four-wheel drive Genius tires. I put on some links tonight. Oh, okay. So sorry about that. Tire wheels are the Vanquish OMF wheels, multi-piece setup that I built up. And then these are the RC four-wheel drive Genius tires. I just swapped to some 350 hubs rather than the 600s that I had on there before. So that tucked it in a little bit tighter. I'll show you guys the new stance on that here in just a second. I've got one more to so if you're not familiar with these wheels, they're Vanquish, the OMF line. You kind of have to piece them together, like piece by piece, to get my to get the setup that you want. So as far as the tractor tires, I've got the RC four-wheel drive Mud Bashers here too. I just kind of like these better. I think they look cooler. One more wheel, and I'll show you the new stance. And I'll grab the grave digger from over there as well. I'll show you guys what that looks like. Let's see. Where'd my last tub go? There it is. I think this is actually a licensed tire. Like, this is a real licensed version of a real mud tire. So this was the Max D monster truck. So it did not come with a glow-in-the-dark helmet. Or it didn't. The driver came with this standard white helmet on, I think. I bought this thing in a trade, or got it in a trade, whatever. So I'm not 100% sure. I've never owned the Max D. We got the Gravedigger over there, but that's it. So I'm much happier that I've got the black chassis version rather than building with the green one. Just not a big fan of the green. Especially because the green and orange that I would, or the orange that I would like to run would greatly clash with the green. But, you know, of course you could dye it and all of that kind of thing, but that sounds like work. Not really sure why I have so many extra screws. Never end. I'm going to put the body post setup back in just because I don't want to lose them. I'll just put them all the way down. $3D print version of my head. I don't know if it'd fit in the cockpit. It might be too big. Okay. I'm not saying that if you like the green, Gravedigger's great for you. I just don't like green. I mean, and not that I don't like green. I do like green. I don't like green in the sense of how I want to build this truck, though. All right. I can even put my tools away. For someone who just asked what this is a dynamite tool set, and it has the bits that all go in the handle, and then those all fit into my power drivers. So that's what you've seen me using tonight. This is my favorite power driver. It's a Ryobi. It's the Fortec. It's the one that had the clutch. They took the clutch off all the new ones, which is a total bummer, and means that I haven't bought them anymore. And I bought recently these Genesis ones off of Amazon. They were like 2 for $50 or something like that. 2 for $25 or 2 for $50. I don't remember. They're not nearly as nice as that Ryobi. I wish I could buy 5 more of these Ryobis. I love these things, but with the chuck. If it doesn't have that clutch, not chuck, but clutch. If it doesn't have that clutch, I don't want it. So I'm going to take all the preload out of these shocks just for appearance. Let's see. And then I'm going to make one more quick mod. Whoops. I'm going to move those front shocks back one more hole on the chassis. That's just to get it as low as possible. Shit. Spacer's dropped. Help me, Tom Cruise. Well, there's one of the two. Where'd the other one go? Damn it. See, I know there's a ton of... Where did it go? I know it's in here somewhere. Where did you get caught? Oh, this is just bullshit. Huh. I magically lost the spacer. I don't know. I'm sure I'll have the shocks off again. I'll probably replace them. Okay, there we go. In the spring, could you be right? It's not in the cup. Nope. I don't know what happened to it. It magically disappeared. It's magic. All right. Now, we can put all this shit away and we can get this thing. Oh yeah, I showed off my my new Hoonigan gear last time, but I got a new got some new swag in the mail today. I got my new Laser Nut hoodie. This thing's pretty sweet. Laser Nut info, or the Laser Nut logo and stuff on the back, and their logo kind of on the side. Yeah, look at that. So thanks to the guys at Laser Nut. And Kyle at UC Fab. Ooh, I also got a beanie. Pretty sweet. Okay. Anyway, I'm trying to get all this stuff out of the way. I have another pile of stock links and if I kept all of these and you gave, it'd be a pain. I have to throw them away. I'm sorry. Okay, let's. I'm going to set this stuff up. So that you can... Now, those body posts kind of jack this thing up a little bit. I should just drill the holes and show you guys what this body would look like on there. I guess I could do that. It's not like I'm super attached to that body. My handy little traveling tool bag there. So let's figure out body needs to sit. Think about there. Let's see. Not normally the way I would mark a body. I'm sorry. Let's see. Let's go to the outside. Okay. I think we're getting close. Let's see. Normally I mark the bodies before they're painted. Which would be how I would always suggest you to do it. But this old body's been sitting around for a long time. Granted, I think it only has one competition on it, which I won. No, I didn't win. I won the bet. I did not win the competition. I take that back immediately. The guy who won had a Lamborghini body mud truck. But he was quite fast. Okay. Not quite big enough. Go. So now this is a long body, and it's got a lot of overhang right now. Sorry. Okay. So that's what we got. Now this body is not mounted to anything in the back. It's just kind of flopping around. So probably what I would do is I'll look at 3D printing some body supports that maybe come off of this upper shock tower area and kind of come in and just grab the sides of the body. I think that would be fine. That screw it in from a couple spots in the back. You know, it's got a little bit of squat in the back, but I don't think that looks too bad. Looks like she's going fast. I just want to go fast. So. Yeah. So let's compare this thing to the grave digger. Let me clean some of this stuff off the desk so that we can take a look. I'll probably have to let's see. So we actually got 3 monster truck builds in here. Okay, let me modify my camera position. All right. So let's see. I'm just sorry, trying to just get a I know. I wish I had a better camera setup or camera angle kind of setup for you, but I know it's such a goddamn bummer that I can't get you a better look. So I'm not trying to get all shaky with this camera on you guys. I'm sorry. So now we can probably go in a little bit. Yeah, for not trying to get all shaky, I'm definitely getting all shaky. I apologize for the audio. Okay. God. So, I think that the Gravedigger sits quite a bit taller. I've got the shock preload pushed all the way up on these so that it sat lower. Out of the box, it sits like up here. You know, this one sitting stock, it needs softer springs up front. You know, it's super rigid right now. But I think that putting the shocks up front in that truck versus the trailing arm look is something so small, but so much of just a looks difference that I'm all over that. I'm so glad that was the decision that I made there. I think moved all the way to the front is just a good look. And with the new replacement lower link up there, cleans up. There's nothing wrong with a trailing arm look, but let's, we're looking at, now that actually looks kind of funny with these dinky little tires and, how much width it takes away when you do that. So it's, just such a huge difference. Now, let's take we'll take this guy away, and I'll bring in the other monster truck. Now, this one is a custom chassis. This is all Vanquish axles, V2 axles, completely built transmission, Proline, what do you call these things? Destroyer tires on the Proline wheels. So now, this again is a very different look. So, different looks for different things. Everyone's going to have their opinion on what they like better than not. This thing does, yes, this thing has the King shocks, and they do look good. I 100% agree that King shocks look good. They just don't perform well. I'd rather not keep dropping. See, I would keep dropping these, except that my camera stand, my laptop, everything's on this table, so you just get a bunch of shaky video, and that is terrible. So if I had it set up differently, I could do that for you, but I don't. So yeah, like I said, the red one, you're just looking at, it's a custom chassis, Vanquish V2 axles, Pro 4 motor, full Vanquish transmission, MI3 drive shafts, Vanquish Curry sway bars, RC4 drive on the shocks. An early prototype Vanquish servo horn. This was from a couple years ago when we were testing servo horns, or sorry, a year ago, something like that. Yeah, so that's what this setup is. Way different. I'm just not like, this is, a lot of people like this style of truck. This is just not my style of truck. I don't care for this. I like that. That's why I'm building that and not this. So this is just a shop truck. This is one that we built to have around the shop, play around, all that kind of fun stuff. Yeah. So it is fun to just have RC cars in your office. It's like, oh yeah, I just got 3 monster trucks that sit in here. Now, this thing looks like it's squatting more than it should because the body is kind of squatting. So the body should sit about right there, and then it would sit about right. But man, I think this thing turned out good for a night's worth of work and just a handful of parts swapped onto it. I'm pretty pleased with this little guy. I'm going to move my camera stuff around again. I mean, the Cali lean seems appropriate, or Southern squat, whatever, whoever's lean or squat wants to claim it at the time, I guess. But I'm digging this thing. I think this thing's going to be cool. It's going to be fun. Looking forward to throwing a bunch of cool shit on it. New axles. I think that the new width of those on the hubs made a difference. That was probably the right call. Those 600s were too wide. Oh, the RAM. I've still, hold on. I'll grab it. You can compare it once too. Sorry for the. It's a dusty mess. It's just been sitting, but you know, comparing the two to each other. I know I moved the camera, and now that's it would be quite convenient to have it back to show. But you know, the Mud Bashers are a good-looking tire and all as well. But this truck's probably going to do pretty well. For as much as I hate mud and mud things, I sure have a lot of trucks that resemble mud trucks. So I'm digging this truck though. I think it's going to be kind of cool. Why is Vanquish does make an XR10 mod for the SCX10 axle, the Curries. That's why. So this is the so SMT10. This one here, that's the Burley mud truck plates from RC Bros. You can get them on their site. They just bolt on. Then you can. It just takes any SCX10 and turns it into this stock shock. You actually don't need anything else. You just buy these plates. They bolt on, and you can basically have this set up. Pretty simple. So, yeah, there you go. Sweet. All right, guys. I don't know that I've got a bunch else that I need to talk about tonight. We can probably change over to... this is what happens when I move all my stuff around. Then you can't see anything. That's probably all we really need to, cover on this thing. What front links did you put on the black chassis? So Smurf Rocket 360, nice name. The front lower links are a new link that is made to replace the trailing arms. I'll have them on the Vanquish site soon. There'll be an Incision link, so they'll be cheap, like $13 or something like that for the pair, so that you can do this swap easily and cheaply. I used Incision upper links. These are the Yeti rear upper links. So those work on the front and rear of this chassis. Pretty simple as far as that goes. And then I bolted on a set of the Vanquish Yeti links, trailing arms, in the new gray color. And I put them on backwards. I put the left on the right and the right on the left. I just noticed that. What a rookie move on my part. So that's, I can't believe that I did that, and I feel like I almost feel like I have to change those. Oh my God, I can't believe I did that. That was a pretty smooth move on my part. Man, I can't take a picture of that or anything without noticing that. That's just gonna bug the crap out of me until I fix it. What a dumb move. But what's not a dumb move is that look. That thing looks good. I don't care who you are. I do good work. I'm just gonna say it. So, yep. All right. Well, guys, thanks for watching. This little truck might be fun. We'll have some fun swapping some parts in and out on this thing. I think this wheel and tire combo turned out sick. I think the body actually looks pretty good on here. I wasn't going to use this body in particular, but seems hard to go wrong now. Modest too, yeah. But guys, that was it was fun. Thanks for all the movie quotes. That was a freaking blast. I had a great time with the live feed. I need to get home and see my wife. I got some cleanup to do first though, so I'm going to clean up this office, get my stuff put away, and get out of here. Thanks for watching, guys. Look out for more videos on this thing. I'm sure I'll have them. I'm sure I'll have pictures and all that kind of good, fun, happy horse shit put up on the site before too long. And yeah, so thanks for watching, guys. We will see you next time.